Wikispeed demo video, August 10th, 2017, Lynnwood, Washington, United States shop. I'm here with William Newing, product owner, and Joe Justice, development team member. Here we have a white foam buck sitting on top of an interior module with a piece of wood particle board in between that's been wrapped in plastic wrap, pallet wrap. The idea here is this has been set up, this is done for the night, is to then cover this in plastic wrap as a foam mold, and then wrap it in a layer of carbon fiber, wet that out, a layer of biaxial mat to add the loft in the center, wet that with epoxy, and then 2 layers of carbon fiber and wet those. I think it's 5-ounce plain weave carbon is what we're using for those. What that should give us, when it releases the day after that, is a weather cap that can sit on top of our interior modules to park cars outside, lock them, and also with a full flat front and sides, we can cut our DOT glass to fit the front and sides and make doors or hatches and do weather testing with just the interior module and all the wheels open, so independent from any aeroshell, which should give us some test options. So that's set. Then another thing is here is suspension V36 adapter plate. So here's one of our knuckles, one of our modular bearing carriers is this piece of aluminum here, machined out of aluminum 6061T6 from our CAD. A ring has been pressed on here in an earlier demo video you may have seen. This is V36 adapter plate. It holds the spherical rod end bearings. This is the pivot for the car. And we can either pivot it right on center or here to give caster angle so that when you're steering, the wheel comes back to center when you let your hands off the steer. We can choose. Now the trick here is this is the point on which your wheel turns, right? So you want this to be the very center of your wheel. That would be ideal. And few cars achieve that ideal. But the ideal is to have the center of your tire be the point you turn. Well, our tires are really, really wide. Getting those to have the center so that they turn, they pivot, that spherical rod end bearing center is right here, is what this adapter plate is all about. And it works. So here's our maximum thickness. Here's where our wheel is going to mount, the outside of our rotor, our brake rotor. So that's the wheel mounting surface. And then here's where we're going to pivot. So the distance between the center of the spherical rod end bearing and the face of this rotor, that's what's called our offset. And the maximum offset we can order from the company we like for wheels, because they're affordable and make really, really wide wheels, 12-inch, 13-inch wide wheels, is called ForgeStar. The widest offset we can do with them is 83 millimeters, or right about 3.5 inches. Well, this is a 3-inch offset. It works. So this plate works. We can steer right the center of these wheels and not be even the maximum offset we can order from ForgeStar, which is very inexpensive, very durable, very lightweight, fantastic wheels. We don't have a discount from, hey ForgeStar, you should give us a discount. Please. So that's, prototype is ready. Next step will be to assemble this more, mount the wheels, verify it still works, mount it to the car. But in a mock-up, yeah, the distance between the center of this spherical rod end bearing and here is almost exactly 3 inches, so it's within tolerance. So that happened. Dr. Newing, anything you want to add?
Any recommendations?
Yeah. Using a fast turnaround machine shop, if you're not going to machine it yourself, this is the 36th version of our adapter plates to try to get better and better suspension. Imagine if you're using a machine shop that had a 1-month lead time. That'd be not what you want, right? So we use a machine shop that has a 1-day lead time. We use bigbluesaw.com, and they'll start cutting it right after we upload the video, right after we upload the CAD to them. And their price is about the same as local machine shops who have a longer lead time. So love it. Thank you so much, Big Blue Saw. Or if you at all can, machine it in-house, because then you know, at least as in a mock-up, even if you're machining plastic, just to check the shape, you know within an hour if you have basic milling skills. And if you don't, pair with someone who does, and in 1 day you'll have basic milling skills, at least the basics, right? Yeah, so short lead time iterations, I mean, it adds up. V36, if you have a 1-day iteration versus a 1-month iteration, who's your customer going to use? The company that has a 1-day iteration for the part that goes on their car. That'd be the recommendation I've got today.
Excellent.
And work with William Newing and Chris Wallace at any opportunity, because they're the stuff of legend. And William also towed a stump with his WRX, with his STI, across our new racetrack, our new test track coming in. so we can compost the stump. That was epic. You changed that up and dragged it with the car. Awesome. And a WRX all-wheel drive will do it. It'll pull a stump across the road. A big, big stump. What else got done today, or other recommendations?
Pairing, we had to move a lot of big equipment and furniture and cars on casters. That's really helpful. If we didn't have the cars on casters, that would have been even bigger. We probably wouldn't have gotten here with this current iteration. We would have to figure out how to move this in order to get to our composite rack, which actually all 3 items in car number 8 is also on casters.
And the composite rack itself. So yeah, that was a huge
Yeah.
help. Thanks Milo for building the composites rack and building it with casters in the first place. And then everyone else in the team for continually putting most things on casters. We also moved a bandsaw that's there easily because it was mounted on the casters. That was also Milo. Most of the equipment in the shop is mounted to casters. The pneumatic press is on casters for that reason. And you don't know how often you might have to move something just a little bit to get around something, right? And having the casters there changes a 10-minute moving around with jacks and the existential overhead of that. You just lose your motivation from having to do that into, I'll just push on it and in 10 seconds it's done. Now, a bonus with that too, the casters, you're still pushing a car and overcoming that moment of friction. I might be saying that all wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that makes it stick until you get it moving. So I'd recommend weightlifting. William Newing had leg day yesterday. I had leg day today. We're trying to make lighter and lighter cars, but let's try to make cars light enough that you can deadlift them. So you better have a good deadlift, and we better make light cars.